Hello everyone, and welcome to Behavioral Autism Therapies TikTok. So today is a very special day, and before the day ends, we would like to wish everyone, for all our veterans out there, it is Veterans Day, and we'd like to, wish them a happy Veterans Day and a very thank you. We're very lucky today to have our special guest, who is Senior Chief Petty Officer Peña, who is a veteran. So her name is Crystal, and not only is she special just because she's a veteran, but she is also special because she is my older sister. So thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much for joining us today for our TikTok here at Behavioral Autism Therapy. So if you want to go ahead and give your official introduction, so that way I don't steal anything away from you, and then we'll go in and jump in on questions, okay?
Sure. So I've actually retired. I did 26 years. I retired a couple years ago, and I'm really happy to be here. It is a tongue twister, but it is a senior chief. That is an E8 in the military. And I always say, when people ask me, well, why did you join, or what made you decide to join? The thought in my head is, if not me, then who else? I always think of that because, I've been joined. The thought in my head is, if not me, then who else? I always think of that because, I've been told less than 1% of the entire population of the United States even serves the military. And then I'm a female, and that's also just a lesser population. So if I didn't, then who else would? So I always think of that.
Sorry, I want to,
it's something that, you have to be courageous, and you have to definitely fight your fear, because it can be fearful. But I'm here, and it was a great decision, and I love being in the Navy all the 26 years. I don't regret one day of it.
No, and thank you so much again. I don't think I will ever get tired of thanking you for your service. And then what year did you start in the Navy?
1997.
1997.
Yep, a year after high school.
A year after high school, yeah. And then, so thank you so much. So 26 years in the Navy, and then throughout those 26 years, before I jump into the fun questions, I do want to ask, among those 26 years, what was your experience like? And then what is the population, and let's say for our population that we service is kiddos that either have special needs or autism. What does that look like for military purposes, if they would either want to join the military? Can you give us a little bit insight on that?
Fortunately, I was a recruiter. And in recruiting world, that's our job, is to be able to get applicants from all walks of life to join the Navy, because the best places are culturally diverse, and it's inclusive of everybody, right? Because we're representing the United States as a whole. And with that being said, they actually do have screeners in the military entrance processing centers that will go through medical records. The recruiter will ask of if they do have applicants that have, we've had several people get through boot camp with Asperger's, as well as high functioning autism. It has to be screened by a medical professional at the military entrance processing station that processes all the different services. So it's not just the Navy. Other services have had special needs, 17, 18-year-olds join, and they have been successful. So it just depends on the individual, case by case, how they're going to deal with stress, and the screening process. So.
Oh, thank you for that. I think that's been a question that we've had in the past, and definitely curious, right? And we didn't want to say yes or no, but your response, thank you so much for that. And then I do want to know, 26 years is a long time to serve. How is life in those 26 years that you served, and those 26 years that you were active? How was life, I guess, civilian life, you would call it, or how is life on the ship?
So when you're in the military, depending on what service you're in, you're going to be on the land a lot more if you're in the Army or the Marines. But in the Navy, most of our jobs are going to be ship-based, meaning, we have the most coast. United States is surrounded by water for the most part, right? We have a lot of shoreline, and we have to protect that. We are the strongest and biggest Navy in the world, so we have to be on these ships, and we have to make sure that they're, kept up, and that we know how to fight, use our cannons, use our weapons, use our fire controlmen, because, I say we push a button from, thousands of miles away where the Army and the Marines are there fighting. So, to me, it was the better of both worlds because, it's not a cruise ship. We have small places to sleep. We have shifts we have to work because everybody doesn't fit in a small space to eat, right? So we have food and 24/7. So imagine a cafeteria that has every 2 hours or every 3 hours they're feeding us because it's very small. Everything is compartmentalized. A lot of people don't know this, but it's compartmentalized because if we had flooding, they could close each individual section of the ship, and there could be hundreds of different little compartments with watertight doors. So everything is small. You can fit 5,000 people on an aircraft carrier, and it doesn't look like 5,000 people are living on it. I was on a smaller ship with about 250. Actually, it was a Spruance class destroyer, and it only had about 230, 240 people on it. So it's a very tight living. You have to know how to be able to hold all your stuff really small and work together because we can't call the police, we can't call the fire department. We are our own fire department, our own police department. We do everything together. So it's very humbling. It's a humbling experience because you get a lot of things that you take for granted living in a regular land base where you can go to Target whenever you want. We don't have that luxury. We don't even get our laundry done all the time. We have to sometimes rewear things. I mean, it's not the most comfortable lifestyle, but it definitely humbles you and gets you prepared for war and any other challenge in life that you might not appreciate.
No, yeah, definitely. And then of those 26 years that you served, can you name a couple of the areas that you were stationed at and how long you were stationed at in those areas?
I was stationed in Japan. I was stationed in Guam. I was stationed at Great Lakes, Illinois. So again, for many years, I was not on a ship. You can join the Navy, and some jobs you'll never go on a ship. I was also sent to South Korea. I've been on my ship where it deployed. So we went to Australia. We went to Saudi Arabia, Hawaii. Been all over. I lived in Africa for a year too, and that was all on land again. So not always on a ship, but the Navy always took care of me. I always feel like the Navy did a great job of taking care of their sailors.
Awesome. That's several places, of course, and then in some areas like Japan. How many years were you stationed in Japan?
2 years in Japan, a year and a half in Guam, a year in Africa, Singapore, a month at a time here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I was actually stationed out of a smaller town by Seattle, Washington, Everett, Washington. That was my first ship, so I was there for a couple of years, 2 to 3 years. I was there.
No, yeah, and thank you again. I won't get tired of thanking you, one, for your service, and then we also have another guest here. We have Larry. You can go ahead and give it up. Who's going to go ahead and take on some questions?
I would be remiss if I would not say how thankful I am for you to be able to do what you do. Because of what you do, we're able to be here and work with kids with autism safely.
Yes.
And the military, people don't know how much the military works 24 hours of the day to assure that our safety so that we can do our everyday work, and I just want to thank you for that. I know Sarah's thanked you a boatload, but I wanted to personally thank you on behalf of Americans because what you do is just priceless.
Yeah. No, that means a lot to me, and I was explaining to Larry that traveling all over the world, you see kids that have learning disabilities or may have autism, or maybe they're not even sure, and they don't even go to school. They don't have the resources like America does. And that's something to really keep in the forefront of your mind and be very grateful for the military, because we do have this land that is safe, and we're able to have a functioning society that we implement these resources that are very needed, in the public school system. If they are getting those services in other countries, a lot of times it's very, very expensive. A normal family can't even afford it, so.
Well, now that you're a veteran, 26 years, that is so super amazing, first and foremost. Almost a fourth of your life, almost all your life.
a big part.
Because you look like you're 30. So
I'm 47, but thank you.
So you join when you're 21. She's 47.
Well, I was
So
19.
19.
Yeah, I was a year out of high school.
So more in the military than you actually spent in the real world.
Yeah, I feel like it went by fast. I think because you are so busy and you do have a lot of new adventures and the military keeps you moving around, that I feel it's so much slower on the civilian side, that it's taking longer, which is good because you want to enjoy life, you know.
And that's what I was
Yeah.
going to ask too, was how does it feel being a veteran? You know what I mean?
I feel like I'm not
After
busy
26.
enough.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I feel like guilty sometimes. And I think that's the stress. Now I'm realizing why service members that get out, especially the ones that were in war or did a really long time, they were so much on the go and they had to be always prepped up and revved up all the time for what they don't know what's going to happen next, and changes that always happen in the military, because we're the most adaptable animal. That's how I feel. We adapt to whatever's going on around us. That when you get into a routine and you're not on the go all the time, it's like I feel guilty. I feel like I'm not doing enough sometimes. So like I said, no, I guess I'm getting my master's now, and
Congratulations.
I'll graduate next month finally.
Yeah,
So
congratulations.
I think I try to keep putting things on my plate when really I need to just be like, I've arrived. That's my new saying. I have arrived. Let me chill out. Let me just enjoy not being busy and being able to do things with the tolerance of knowing like I can spend as much time as I want on one project now. You know, if I want to
Instead of
take up a new
multitasking.
hobby, yeah, exactly. Instead of multitasking or doing always what you're told to do. Yeah.
And I think that's a really great point, that it is hard for our veterans to adapt to our real world. And the fact that you're adapting and going to get your master's degree, that's pretty amazing. But it's not easy for every veteran to adapt because of what you're saying, that it is different in the civilian quote unquote world compared to the military world, because you're always multitasking, you're always on the go, you're always feeling a responsibility to keep us safe.
Yes.
You know, so I'm just in awe that you're here to share with other veterans, share with us that our need to support our veterans.
Oh,
we
yes.
need to really support our veterans.
Yep.
And like you said, to show, I think you mentioned to some of our kids with autism that veterans do have a high suicide rate.
Yes.
And you made a good comment. I wanted to see if you can actually share that again with our audience, because I think everyone should do what you mentioned.
I think making sure that, sometimes you see a veteran and you maybe want to say something. I think anything being said to them specifically that they matter, that they are important, and of course, thank you. It doesn't matter how many times someone tells me. I've always felt like great when someone tells me that. But I think it's important for the community to always thank them and just kind of give them that reminder, even if it's just a pat on the back, how is your day doing? Because they do have that stressor on them. It's just so important. You just don't know what someone's going through. And it could be just that one thing that you said that kind of brightened their day,
No, I think that point resonated a lot for me. I think we do need to tell our veterans that they mean something, because you do lose a sense of meaning possibly once you leave the military.
Yes.
And then now you're into this society that you protected for so long, and sometimes you don't feel a sense of meaning.
Right. It's hard to intertwine with a whole another entity of life that you never saw it in the way that you see it now, protecting them and then being part of them. It's almost like, maybe they feel like they were the superhero and now they have to take a step down, and not to say that we're all heroes, but it could be a mindset that, we're trained that way. And then to have this whole nother life that we're just supposed to jump into while you guys have been doing it the whole time. And now we're trying to catch up with you guys. I think it can be overload for them. That's what I think happens.
No, it makes sense, from a behavioral analyst perspective. You do this your whole life, and then now you're supposed to adjust but the adjustment is so different
Yes,
than what you've experienced for so long.
it is.
And that's why I admire our veterans, because they're doing something that's so meaningful, but then have to feel like, how do I adjust to this world? And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, but that's why I think we all have to rally around our veterans
For sure.
and just let them know that they're meaningful, that they mean something still, and they will always mean something to us. But I really appreciate you continuously growing yourself.
Yes, you have
know?
to. I think you have to, yeah.
And I think that that's, something that our society misses, that we are moving, because as Miss, I don't want to call you Miss, I want to say Senior
Chief.
Peña mentioned that when you're in the military, you're doing it for a purpose. You're doing it for a reason. When you're out, you just don't know what that reason is anymore. And we just have to constantly remind our veterans. And that's why I love our society, that we have Veterans Day. So it'd be remiss of us not to bring a real veteran in and talk about not just the goods, but some of the things that we have to continuously support our veterans on.
Yeah, and every emotion that someone feels is growth. You have to go through those feelings. And I think that's why it's important to talk about the good and the bad, because everything is not good. Everything's not always going to be good, but it's important because it's the resiliency that builds with you when you have to experience things that are bad. And yeah, I think what you guys do is so important because of that. Let's be honest, like behavioral analysts, you guys have to do a lot of different things to become what you are right now, and be able to tell somebody and help somebody through their problems, experience what they're experiencing almost at the same time. So I thank you guys actually for what you guys are doing.
I really appreciate it. But I know this, I don't think our behavior analysts will go into
live on a ship.
Live on a ship, on explore. Right, I think we are very humbled and honored by those that do that. Yeah. For you to do it, and I just said earlier, as a female, sometimes can be very intimidating. It can be very.
It's a lot better now. It's a lot better now.
Because of people like you that have changed it and shown that women can do anything given the opportunity and the support.
I definitely feel that, yes.
So I want to thank you for just that.
Thank you.
Changing the whole perspective for women in the military. We're seeing some really amazing soldiers out there that are women.
Oh yeah, and being a mom, you can still be a parent, you can still be a good mom, and it's multitasking, but it just makes you stronger in the end. And I think it's important for your kids to see you be able to do all that, because it's just going to make them stronger too.
And I did have a luxury to meet your daughter. She's beautiful, amazing energy. So you're doing a really great job.
Youngest
of four.
Of four.
If you met the other three, they're just as great. I love all my girls. They're super strong, and they're charismatic.
They probably get it from mom.
Maybe.
Well, Sarah, would you like to share anything else with your amazing sister?
No, I think thank you first off for coming here. I know it was on the whim that I asked, but thank you. And I think growing up with you, I think it's always been like something to look up to. And I think even with Dad, being able to complain to him about anything, and then him putting you as an example, I think that for sure, always like, I can't complain about the little thing. He goes, pues su hermana Cristal. So then thank you. And then I thank you for what you do. And I think that's pushed me to want to strive to be better. So thank you for your service. And
and comments like that is, the hard days that I did have in the military, or any day, we all have hard days. It just reminds me of why I'm getting up in the morning and why I'm doing things. There is a lot of veterans that they fall after they retire, and I've always told myself I'm not going to be that. I'm going to make sure that I keep busy, that I keep my mind going, just comments like that. They really help process thoughts and why you're doing what you're doing and why it's so important. So I appreciate that.
No, I'm still trying to run a marathon because of you. So
it's hard, guys.
3K, that's it.
It's hard.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
you're
again,
welcome.
guys, I just wanted to bring something amazing to our BAT TikTok today. and thank you for bringing.
No, thank
this
you
is
guys.
super
I'm
amazing.
so appreciative of this. I mean, I know you guys say thank you over and over again, but I love doing stuff like this because I always say I'm a recruiter at heart. I think that the Navy saved my life. The direction that it went in, there's no way I'd be where I am at today without the military. So I always try to push the military on anybody that's willing to join. It's a great life, no matter what you hear. I'm telling you firsthand. The whole package, I wouldn't have done differently. I think that it's a great experience, and it definitely makes you a stronger person because, life doesn't get easier, guys. Life does not get easier. You just get stronger. So what are you doing to get stronger in your mind, in your physical abilities? You have to be doing those things, and I think the military sets you up for that.
Wow. The next motivational speaker.
Mhm.
Definitely the next motivational speaker. But again, for all the veterans out there, for Senior Chief Officer Peña, I want to say thank you again. And let's just keep on rooting for our veterans. And happy veterans to all of you guys. Happy Veterans Day, sorry. To all you guys.